Hello everyone, I have a bunch of HO scale engines here, and I used to have a oval of tracks set up, and basically I lost that room, so I had to get rid of that. Now I still have the track, but I basically have no room to put it in. So here's the solution I came up with. This room I can use. I'm using it to display all my 1/64 scale cars. So I can use this room for my model railroad. However, it's already full. So here's the solution that I came up with, is to do a shelf model railroad. Now, a shelf model railroad, I wish somebody would have told me about that a number of years ago, although maybe I wouldn't have listened. The basic principle is you can use just the wall, so it takes no room, and I may have stayed with HO scale if I had have known about that. So one way you could do it is you could have a dog bone coming up here and then going around the room and having another dog bone turning around and going back, so you can avoid the door. So that's one way to do it. The other way to do it is you could have your shelf layout as high as you want. It could be like a regular table, or it could be higher, that to eye level, which is also kind of cool, but you still run into the problem of having the door. So you can make a lift out bridge there. A shelf model railroad is actually a good place to have a bunch of really cool bridges. You can do the Tunkhannock Viaduct in Nicholson, so you can do very big, realistic bridges. My solution is to go above the door, so I can go above the door and have a continuous railroad all over the room. That's what I'm gonna do. Although these 5 1/18 scale cars, they have to go. They're gonna have to go, but it's for a good cause. I got my oval of track that I can use, but I've also got these Bachmann Easy Track that came out. That's what I'm using, Bachmann Easy Track, that I got with another lot. So I oftentimes I go on eBay and look for HO scale lot or N scale lot, and whatever is cheap, I pick it up. So I got a bunch of these that I can use on top of my nice oval that I got upstairs. So we'll start out with your basic starter set and your basic power pack. So we're gonna go for a low budget approach to model railroading. I hope that's agreeable to you guys, because I like money and I want to get my model railroad, but I don't want to spend too much. Ask your friends and neighbors for leftover plywood. This is a leftover plywood from another project, but all you need is 2 feet by 2 feet to make the corners. In fact, this one is not quite 2 feet, but we're gonna make it work. And that you have to decide for yourself what is best for you. So that's going to be my corner piece. If you even it out, you're going to want the end of the track to be exactly aligned with the end of your plywood on both sides. And we're going to work on the geometry of this a bit later. But you have to decide how much room you want to have between the track and your wall. This would even be just a little bit too long for me, but that you have to decide by yourself. You can make it a little bit wider and have more buildings, or a little bit shorter, and then your shelf for the straight track gets to be shorter. So that's something that's very personal. For me, I'm gonna want it to run close to the wall. So this is too long, and I'll figure out a measurement that I like, and I'll recut this so it's perfect for me. So after hours of consideration, I've decided upon a standard of 21 inch. So that gives me on my shelves that they're going to be about 6-inch wide. I'm going to have about 2 inches on each side. Look at that, 18-inch radius curves precisely. So I'm going to cut the center section here. I don't think I need it. I'm just going to, that's going to allow me to maybe see my train a little better when it's on the top like that. Another advantage I thought about is, let's say you put your layout on the basement. To have a shelf layout like that would prevent it from flooding. You know, sometimes you get 2, 3, 4 inches in the plywood. So this is going to be also modular. So if you get flooding, not only will the layout be saved, but you can remove the sections while the cleanup crew is coming and putting up new drywall. So that's another advantage of a shelf layout. So these are the corner pieces from my squares, and I'm cutting up a whole bunch of these end pieces. I'll show you a little bit why they're for. So after I cut out a whole bunch of end pieces, I've got a nice shelf bracket. Look at that. That's going to be a good shelf bracket. So that's pretty cool. Nothing goes to waste. My corner sections are coming along. I've got my end pieces here. And the only thing maybe I have left to do is to make a hole for my feeder wire. Maybe an extra hole for some lighting in the future. Now I can work on my straight sections. This is another piece of leftover plywood from another section. You could also find shelves from your local hardware store. You know, 6x6 or 6x8. So 4 pieces of Bachmann Easy Track is exactly 3 feet long, so I'm gonna cut it there. This is what my straight sections will look like. I'll put the 2 little end pieces very shortly. Now, I don't have enough track to go around my room, but by starting this, it's going to give me something to look at. I can run my trains on that short section until more track comes in. So I went again with a very low dollar approach for the track. I bought some very old used brass track, which is not as good as the nickel silver track, but that's on order, it's on the way. Alright, so everything's coming along fine. Let me show you what these end pieces are for. Get yourself some clamps from the dollar store, C-clamps, vise, whatever you can find that will put pressure on them. So what that allows me to adjust it. You can adjust it side by side, up and down. So once you have it adjusted exactly where you want it, you can come in with your clamps and clamp it down. That will keep it from moving. So you can have a precise joint for your tracks, so your cars and your engine don't derail. That way your joint is exactly right, even though your mounting brackets might not be perfect. This allows you to make it perfect. Now to mount these on the wall, you can use the brackets we made earlier with the rest of the end pieces, or you can buy, you know, I got some dollar store brackets which also work well. For me, I'm just using these little tiny brackets. I'll put 3 of them, and that will make it very stable for me to install this. Now I'm gonna paint the tops of these green. You guys know I'm not the channel for scenery. That's as much as I know for scenery, is just a little bit of green. And again, that's some leftover paint from another project. So I'm gonna keep doing this off camera. Now that everything's green, all I gotta do is nail down my track. Perfect, my first module is completed. Now I'm ready to go mount them on the wall. I've set up my 4 corner pieces. And I didn't have to move any of my cars, so that's pretty neat. And then I've got my 2 straight sections here, so I can run a little bit of trains for you guys. And now it's time to run some trains. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. I certainly had fun making it for you. Obviously, I've got to buy some more straight sections. But in the meantime, I can run my train on this little section of track right here. Hope you enjoyed the video. See you soon.